Steve, just generally to win this game without Jimmy Butler, what does that tell you about kind of where you are as a team and who rose up to take that spot?
Yeah, it's a big-time win. I mean, you could see we were out of sorts early. With Jimmy out, we changed the starting lineup. We went to some combinations that we've barely played all year, and it took a while for us to find some rhythm. But I thought what kept us in the game was our defense. They got up, I guess, 13 at the most, but these days 13 doesn't feel like that big of a deficit. And I thought the key to the game was the way we closed the second quarter, to pull within 3 and get some momentum, and we felt pretty good at halftime as a result.
To follow up on that, obviously you said you tried some combinations, JK being in one of those. What do you think it is that's keeping him out of rhythm? And could you speak to the fact that Buddy?
I'm sorry,
what do you think it is that's keeping him from finding a rhythm out there? And once he's kind of been put in that role with Jimmy Butler out, and then what do you think helped Buddy Hield to find a groove, and of course GP2 to find a groove?
Yeah, every game's different. JK could come in next game and have a monster game, and he missed 3 games. We didn't play him 3 games. That's not an easy thing to do, and I thought he came in and gave us important minutes. Buddy is he's a guy who's one of the best shooters in the league, and he's always capable of making shots. And because of the constant blitzing of Steph, it opened up the floor, and we finally figured out how to space the floor and get the ball swung in that blitz. We were much better with that in the second half than we were in the first, and Buddy got some good looks and made some big shots.
Just wonder if you could kind of give a bigger picture look at Buddy, and just, at times he can be kind of the butt of jokes, almost in a funny way, partly because of his personality. But, I mean, you mentioned it. He's one of the most prolific three-point shooters ever. It seems like he flipped the game tonight.
Buddy flipped it. Gary Payton flipped it, both those guys. But everybody contributed. Quentin had 12 rebounds. We had Moses come in and make a huge 3 in the second half. But this is what the playoffs are about. They're about injuries and they're about guys stepping up. And we had both today. With Jimmy being out, you have to be able to withstand that and win a game here and there. We've done that for many years. We've had some of our most important guys, miss multiple games in series. So this is what you have to do. You got to find a way, and our guys did that today.
How would you describe Steph's performance and then just the degree of difficulty involved with that?
I don't know. Just whatever I've said the last 11 years after every one of these games, just copy and paste. He's incredible.
Steve, to get Brooks in foul trouble early and he had 4 by halftime, just that made a big difference too, didn't it, for you guys?
I don't even pay attention to that stuff, honestly. They got a lot of good defenders. They got a lot of good players. They're a deep team. So the main thing was, like I said, just hanging in there and withstanding their run in the first half. We probably went 7 minutes with maybe 1 basket, it felt like, and that was a key stretch. And they're going to bring in a lot of guys who can play, and so I don't even pay attention, honestly, to who's in foul trouble, who's out there. We have to respond and play.
The hustle plays down the stretch, it seemed like. I mean, Gary had everybody seemed to have the plays that came up with loose balls that led to more shots. Did you like?
Yeah, I mean, we had more second chance points than they did. 18 to 11, and that's kind of stunning given the way the first 2 games went. But it was an indication of our energy, our physicality, guys flying around. So a lot of guys. Tracked the ball, chased it down, got us extra possessions. I think we had 10 offensive boards. So, a lot of good hustle plays.
Steve, what was the key to holding Jalen Green to just 9 points after he had such a big game too? Was there something, a change or an adjustment you guys made?
I just thought we were a little more aggressive. I thought we gave him too much separation in game 2. They did a good job of getting him downhill and creating space, and we did a better job tonight of taking away some of his space.
Steve, we could copy and paste, but this was a little bit different of a Steph performance in terms of the grittiness, knowing what they were trying to do to him, and just to almost have a triple-double. Can you elaborate at all?
Want me to give you more than
I do.
copy and paste? I mean, he's Steph Curry. He's one of the greatest players of all time. He's 37. He's one of the most well-conditioned athletes I've ever seen in my life. To play 41 minutes against that kind of defense, to have a slow start and then find his rhythm, which we've seen him do, countless times over the years, to hit big shots, to only turn it over twice against that kind of pressure. He was brilliant. So I hope that was a better quote than the first one.
Coach, just talk about Gary's just roller coaster of a season and just what it meant to him for him to give that kind of performance with Jimmy out.
Look, Gary, we won the championship in 2022, and Gary flipped the whole series against Boston. We're going against all those great offensive players. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Derek White, and Gary misses game one, and then he arrives after the injury. For game two, and we win 4 of the next 5. Like, that's not a coincidence. Gary is one of the best defensive players in the league, and he's a really dynamic roller. And so we've seen this. We've seen what Gary's capable of doing at the highest level. And he knew he didn't have a great trip in Houston, didn't play particularly well in either game. And so he was kind of due, and I thought he just made massive plays in that fourth quarter and helped us close the game.
Steve, a quick two-parter. The first one, you said you finally figured out, or you guys finally figured out how to space out and get Steph open, beat the blitz. What exactly did you do to do that? And the second part?
Yeah, it's just about spacing. If they're going to commit to Steph, you have to be spaced. And then the guys who are on the perimeter have to give Steph an outlet. And I thought in the first half we were bunched up. We had, a few possessions where we had everybody on the left side of the floor, nobody on the right, and so there's no outlet for Steph. And so that's why we got scattered, and we had some turnovers and some near turnovers. Once we got spaced out, now there's an outlet against the blitz, and we're fine.
Okay, one more quick one. Jimmy Butler seemed super engaged on the bench during the whole game. What was he doing? What was he giving you guys? I know you weren't focused on that, but
yeah. Well, first he had a fantastic coat on, so I thought he was going to be way too hot in that thing. But no, Jimmy is he's so smart. He reminds me so much of Andre Iguodala. Incredible basketball IQ, and then the ability to communicate what he's seeing to his teammates from the bench. I thought Jimmy was really important for us tonight in that regard. I mean, he was talking to guys throughout the game and giving them advice, giving some help, and that was big.
Steve, when Steph is playing like this over here, when Steph is playing like this in a game, like you don't have Jimmy coming from the start, and Steph catches fire in the second half. What do you think it does for? Well, what did it do for you and your coaching staff, and what do you think it does for his teammates to see him carrying this team along like he did?
Well, this is what superstars do, in playoff games. You can't win games without, the great players in the league. When you go deep, the playoffs get tougher and tougher, and the great players just give the whole team confidence, and that's what Steph does.
Hey, Steve, how close was Jimmy to going today, and do you expect to have him for Game 4?
He's literally day to day. So, we have tomorrow off. It'll be helpful for him to have another day, and then it's a night game, so he gets a few extra hours. So we'll see. I have no idea right now if he's going to play. Thank you.